Hello, and thanks for watching another random palm reading. So, this one struck me as, the first things I see in a palm are often the things that need most investigating. And for me, this was the strength of the fate line on the right hand. But first of all, I'm just going to say this is the palm or the palms of a 10-year-old. And I've never read anyone so young before. So I thought this would be fascinating just for that in itself. And I read this, the parent of this person's palm, and they sent me their child's palms and wanted to know more about their abilities, what they would be good at, any sort of health or future things that might crop up, just a general reading. But I thought that in particular that was interesting, that they wanted to know what they would excel at in life. So, well, that's a bit wild, isn't it? So being that we've got quite a lot of information here and the images are quite large, I'm just gonna have a look at the left and right hands individually. This person is a fire hand. We've got a rectangular palm, and the fingers are just about short, but they're very splayed out, and they're very actually long for a fire hand. This is a long Mercury finger, and Mercury is the finger of expression and communication. So when we see a far kind of leaning Mercury like this, it shows the need to explore and to travel. We also see a relatively high set headline. This shows ambition, and on the right hand, look, the gap is even longer, even larger between the rest of the fingers, and this shows a need to break away. And also on the right hand we see an escape line here as well, and this is again this need, the drive here, an urge to experience outside, to explore the outside world. The headline is relatively straight, but where it lands is in a healthy place on both the right and the left hands. What I've noticed about the headline on the left hand is an overall creative curve. This is a healthy creative curve, although there is quite a lot of chaining going on here, and this may show, it's kind of faint as well, and it might show some stress or depression possibly, and some fear, some anxiety there perhaps. On the right hand we don't see that chaining so much, so that's a good sign, and it ends in a similar place, so that which is a healthy place. It's not too low down, it's not too high, but there is some sort of, it's not quite straight in its course. And early life, there does appear to be some potential difficulties on the road ahead, and there's a reaching down towards the life force support. So it's showing, really what this is showing is that this person is worried about the future. They're uncertain, they don't know, and we always fear the unknown, so there's a need for support from parents at this time. And this person's palm, the lines will change hugely, and I've actually received an image from someone who I've seen their palm from 20 years ago, and the lines have just changed so dramatically. And the younger we are, the more the lines change, because the more our present circumstances change and our abilities and skills on what we know about the world and ourselves changes as well. And where this person is at in their life at the moment is about here, actually maybe a little bit further along, about here. And at 10 years old they are still very much dependent, and this is shown by how the lifeline and the headline are still joined at this time. And it's when we see the lifeline begin to break away from the headline that we see a person claim their independence. So it's about the age of 22, 23, this person will really claim their independence. 25 will be an exceptional year for this person. They will look to seriously move outside of their environment, to change and to better themselves, to strive towards something greater. And actually this happens at the age of 16 as well. You see a little triangle formed out of two ambition lines, and this is growth in the area of academia, which we so often see in palmistry in youth. And actually I'm seeing, this is not the clearest of images here, but going a little bit backwards in time again, it looks as though there is a line reaching from the heart line, crashing down into the lifeline. Actually a little bit younger than they are now. And there's this need to, can see here this ambition line growing actually at the age they are now. And it's likely due to this, what looks like disappointment of some sort of emotional disappointment they've gone through, perhaps. This is interesting, and this need to get away is evidenced by this sort of escape line that we see here on the right hand, and also this large space in between the Apollo and Mercury fingers. And what's interesting, this need to get away, this escapism, the strong urge to travel and explore, which is also evidenced by the splayed out fingers here as well, just the reach of the splay of the fingers. It's interesting this because it touches a very profound and deep fate line. And this fate line, it's coming from a place of actually Pluto, borderline Pluto, the lower regions of Luna, but Pluto. And this shows this person is very much in touch with sort of long-distance, long-term memories, ancestral memories, perhaps even past life memories. And that's what this is known by in Indian palmistry, a fate line that stems this low down in Luna is someone who's come back from a past life with unfinished business. Also a fate line with this kind of arc, that comes from this sort of area, is always seen in the palms of people who are wanting to influence the lives of others. That's probably the most accurate way I could put it. They want to make an impression on others. They want to help others. And this is also seen by the great distance we see in the heart and the headline. Great distance here, and this shows an openness, a warmth. So an open-mindedness also, but there's a great sort of warmth around this person, a generous spirit, and a willingness to help. We can see this person has a good sense of right and wrong by where their heart line has developed in between Saturn and Jupiter on the left and right, but also there's a branching towards Jupiter, and it shows idealism. So I'm kind of gathering a picture here of a person who wants to have a career with some sort of audience, but they want to better the lives of others by influencing. Now there are some potential digestion issues, and on the left hand we see this sort of stress here, and as I say, this is corroborated by the headline as well. On the right hand we don't see quite the same sort of gut issues, but there are still some potential intolerances, and I think this is probably due to stress that they've experienced quite recently or are currently experiencing. Now the strength of this fate line on the right hand, this really is something. This is the kind of fate line I would expect to see on the palm of someone who reaches a certain level of fame, in fact. And one of the signs of fame in palmistry is having an Apollo and a Jupiter that is level with each other. And this shows this person has a very real sense of what they are capable in terms of talents. It shows that their ego is in line with their abilities. It shows that they don't have an overinflated opinion of themselves, but it also shows that they are very able and not going to work outside of their means, if that makes sense. And Mercury is long and it's straight. It's a good thickness as well. And I feel like this person would make someone who is very able to speak. There's a good sense of judgment here. There's a warmth here. They'd probably make an exceptional politician. I don't think this is necessarily what they want to do, but I think they are very able to speak for others. Jupiter here is also very strong. This is a strong and capable individual in terms of their own self-worth. There's strong leadership qualities here as well. The Jupiter finger is high set, but it's not, this is a good level of ego here. This is not too long or too short. Now on the left hand here, and I'm not sure if this is the angle, but it looks as though Jupiter is longer on the left hand than on the right. And if that is the case, then this person has lost confidence, perhaps due to the stressful the anxiety they've been going through. Maybe they're having trouble at school at the moment. Now when we look a bit closer at Pluto, this area early on in their life's path, their inevitable path in life, we see this is an escape line. This actually might not be an escape line after all. This one is certainly an escape line, and I believe it's due to experiences early on in life. And I think that if they are being bullied at school, then that wouldn't make sense that they are, wanting to move outside of. They want to get away. They want to experience a new life, as it were. They want to, they fantasize about, being outside of the current situation. This, in fact, might actually be an allergy of some sort. Now, on the left hand, there's a bit of a kind of a line coming through, the will power. Don't see that so much on the right. So there's a feeling within this person that they are not able to quite fully achieve what they want to at the moment. And looking a bit closer, I think this is a whirl on Jupiter. Now, we don't see this all that often. And this shows a very sort of intense nature. It shows a person who has an incredibly sort of individuality about them. Everything from what they eat to their dress code, how they function in life. This person likely wants to willfully make examples out of others and call them out on their hypocrisy. I would have thought this is someone, I believe this is at the hand of a politician as such, or an activist, an influencer in some way. This isn't someone who necessarily will become a politician, but they will have a role in life, or certainly are suited to a role in life that's very similar to that. This is someone who will become in some way influential in their activities. And there's definitely a lot of creativity here. The Apollo finger is kind of spatula, and I get the feeling this is a person who likes to create physically. They like to create either intellectual or, I think, more sort of physical, creative endeavours. Like they're quite artistic in some way. But I think as they move through life, I think they will begin to fall into what they are more suited to, their skill set, and that is actually someone who's more able to lead others. This is a very hugely able communicator. And it's interesting, I've literally just read The Palms of Gandhi, and I'm seeing a lot of similarities here with a thick, straight, long Mercury with a whirl on Jupiter. There are signs of leadership qualities here, but completely different leadership qualities. This is more someone who is leading with their voice, leading because people likely will end up coming to this person because they have shown their leadership qualities in the workplace, whatever it is that they do, or by their sheer intensity of individuality. This is a single-minded, goal-orientated, potentially a little bit self-obsessed and a little bit secretive, but dramatic and highly creative individual. Genuinely, I see big things for this person. I think this person may well become famous to some degree. It's possible at the age of around about 45 there will be some emotional turmoil that may upset their career, but this is such a long way off yet. The lines will just change so much. So in terms of a palm reading, it's not really worth getting into what will or won't happen. This is a reading more around character and health analysis. This is a person with sort of deep ties to the past. This is a person who doesn't forget. This is likely a very warm and generous individual, but probably holds a grudge. Scorn them, and you are forever burned. I think this person has an exceptional voice, not just figuratively, but literally as well. I think this is a person who may well have an exceptional singing voice. And as I say, this is the hand of a politician, or at least an orator of some sort. So I think that's all for this reading. I think I'm going to stop there because there's really only so much I can say about this person. Health-wise, I can see some potential allergies or the body sort of dislike towards pharmaceuticals. There's a sensitivity there. And I think this person may well not get on with, well, certain foods, I suppose. I think there's a foods intolerance there. There's also what I think is a potential for a slight deficiency in potassium as well. And we see that by the weakening of the headline as it trails off. But the youth rarely have anything to worry about in that regard. A few bananas, a couple of weeks later, you'll be fine. So let me know what you think, and please subscribe.